Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So Joe Biden said that he wants to make 4 big changes to Social Security. Will 2024 finally be the year that he gets those done? We'll be going over that. Plus, we're going to be weighing in on Lindsey Graham's new thoughts about the Joe Biden impeachment inquiry. And yet another relative of the Joe Biden family skips out on paying their taxes, despite Biden saying that the rich absolutely need to be paying their fair share. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive $60 or more in free stocks or $60 or more in free cash right before the holiday season, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Webull. All you got to do is click on that link, open your account, deposit at least 1 penny, and at that point you are going to be receiving the 20 free stocks. Each stock is going to be worth at least $3 each, so it's going to be $60 or more in free stocks. At that point, once you receive them, if you don't want to invest and you would rather just have the cash, you can sell those stocks and then transfer the money that you receive right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our lead story for today, we have yet another Biden relative owing thousands of dollars. No, it's not Hunter this time. This time it happens to be his daughter, Ashley. So according to Fox News, Ashley Biden, President Biden's daughter, owes $5,000 in income taxes beginning in 2015, according to a recent tax lien docket first obtained by Fox News Digital. Liens are legal claims imposed by the government on a property or assets to secure unpaid taxes after repeated attempts to collect. On December 1st, the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue in Philadelphia County notified Biden that the, quote, amount of such unpaid tax, interest, additions, or penalties is a lien in favor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania upon the taxpayer's property, real, personal, or both, as the case may be, according to the notice. The period start date listed on the lien begins on January 1st of 2015 when Joe Biden was vice president in the Obama administration, and ends on January 1st, 2021, days before he was sworn in as president. So don't know exactly why she failed to pay the taxes, if she thought that she didn't have to pay because, you know, her father's role as vice president at the time, and of course now the president of the United States. But, you know, you got to say it's pretty hypocritical for Joe Biden to be running around saying that the rich need to pay their fair share, that we need to have all this extra tax revenue coming in, that Americans need to be paying more in taxes. But he has his son and Hunter failing to pay a lot of taxes, as we will get to in just a second. And of course, now Ashley owes $5,000. So, you know, not the best look for Joe Biden there. As you can see here, of course, his son Hunter is under scrutiny recently because he's failing to pay his own taxes. Right there, $1.4 million in taxes that he owes, while of course spending millions of dollars on such a lavish lifestyle. You've seen all the articles about that. I'm not really going to get into it. Now, of course, other than that, Joe Biden did say that he wants to make 4 big changes to Social Security. Of course, these things he said that he wanted to make, it was before he was actually in office. Now that he's in office, he hasn't exactly been putting a big step forward necessarily towards making these changes, but he does have 1 year left. So we will give him this last year to really put his best foot forward, I guess, so to speak, and see if he can make any of these changes take place. So according to the Motley Fool, the first change that he wants to have take place is to increase payroll tax liability on high earners. So basically what he wants to do is he would reintroduce the 12.4% payroll tax on earned income above $400,000, while also creating a donut hole between the maximum taxable earnings cap, which is $168,600, and $400,000 where earned income would remain exempt. So basically in 2024, you're going to pay the payroll tax, the 12.4%, that will go into the Social Security Trust Fund on the first $168,600 you earn. Anything above that amount, you do not have to pay into the Social Security Trust Fund. You're not taxed extra as far as the payroll tax goes. But Biden wants to make it so those who earn above $400,000 would have to pay the 12.4%. That way they have more money going into the trust fund. And then we also don't go insolvent in the next 10 years where we would have to cut benefits by 25%. But, you know, once again, he's wanting to increase the payroll tax liability on higher earners, but it's not the best look whenever his sons and daughters aren't paying their own taxes, both who are, of course, very well-off individuals. Now, the second change that he wants to make, or we'll have to see whether or not he makes it next year, is he wants to shift the program's inflationary measure from the CPIW to the CPIE. So basically, the consumer price index for the elderly is the CPIE, and then the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers is the CPIW. We currently use the CPIW, but the CPIE on average is usually just a little bit higher than the CPIW. So if they did make that switch, the cost of living adjustments every single year would be a little bit higher. So basically, that's what Biden's goal is there. They hope to keep these Social Security benefits attached to inflation a little bit better than what they are currently, where right now the buying power over the last 20 years has diminished so much that, like, if you were receiving Social Security benefits back in the year, say like 2000 to 2003, your spending power, what you were receiving, was, you know, worth a whole lot more than what it's worth today. You're not able to buy the same goods and services with what you're receiving today as you were, let's say, like 20 years ago, which is not a realistic figure. The third change that he said he wants to make is to lift the primary insurance amount for age beneficiaries. So Joe Biden has also proposed a gradual increase to the primary insurance amount of age beneficiaries. Specifically, Biden's plan would see the PIA of retired workers rise by 1% annually, beginning at age 78 and continuing through age 82, which equates to a total boost of 5%. So basically, as you get older, of course, things generally get a little bit pricier, especially like healthcare bills. So that's basically the main goal here, is to make sure as you get older, from the age of 78 and then stopping at the age of 82, what you're receiving would increase, in addition to, of course, the cost of living adjustment. And the last change he said he wants to make is to boost the special minimum benefit above the federal poverty line. So basically right now, is he would raise, if that were to happen, we actually seen a couple of different bills out there, is if you were receiving the if you're currently receiving the special minimum benefit, you would end up having a boost of 25% above the federal poverty line. So right now, if you're receiving the least amount that you could possibly receive, and this objective actually became law, you would end up receiving right around a $485 per month increase. This would be huge. It's in John Larson's bill, the Social Security 2100 Act, and also in Bernie Sanders' Social Security Expansion Act. So those are the four changes he wants to make. Of course, these changes would have to be passed through Congress. And right now, as we have seen with Bernie Sanders' bill, as well as John Larson's bill, they've been put out there, but they only have Democrat support. They don't have Republican support. So there's pretty much no chance any of those are actually going to pass. Joe Biden probably knows this. And that's probably why he's also not really sticking his best foot forward in making sure these things pass. He's not really talking about Social Security. You haven't really seen him talk about it or mention that it's an issue. Instead, he's focusing on all these other things, such as like canceling student loan debt. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below on all of those. And then finally, in our last story for today, of course, we had the Joe Biden impeachment inquiry being opened up by the House. And we've actually had a lot of the Republican senators being very critical of that. And the most recent one, of course, is Lindsey Graham. So according to The Hill, Senator Lindsey Graham on Sunday said he believes the, quote, narrative by Hunter Biden and the president at the center of the House's impeachment inquiry into President Biden is, quote, falling apart, arguing if there was a smoking gun in the inquiry, there would be more clear discussions. He said, if there was a smoking gun, I think we'd be talking about it, but the narrative that Hunter Biden presented is falling apart. The idea that Joe Biden knew nothing about the business dealings is falling apart. I'm not worried about impeaching the president right now, adding he is more concerned with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. So basically what Graham is saying here is that they should not be focusing on impeaching Biden. Instead, they should be focusing on the war going on in Israel right now, that we should be funding that. Everything like that. Of course, I would argue there's probably a lot greater issues than that even. The stuff here at home, our border is absolutely getting invaded. We have, millions of illegal immigrants coming in every day. And while some of them are, great people just trying to make a better life for their family, we actually have people that we don't know who is coming in. Could be a terrorist, could be anyone else. And definitely need to get that under control, as well as the problem with Social Security, as well as the problem with homelessness, as well as the problem with Americans going hungry, as well as the problem with everything else here at home. So definitely need to get that under control before we continue sending money overseas, before we, continue to focus on all of these other issues that aren't really helping out the everyday American. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below on all of that. And that's all we have for today's video. And I will see you in the next one.